Greetings, Commanders. This is Commander Atlas Rand, and today we are in part 2. We are resuming our exploration for money out of Colonia. So, in the last episode, I picked a pseudo-random direction, meaning I didn't have a specific route, but I did kind of know I wanted to go toward the middle of our galaxy. And within 5 jumps, I had come to a system, a star that no one's been to. Got first discovered there, and the total money just for the exploration was over 10 million, which I realized I couldn't collect because I failed to have a probe launcher aboard my ship. So that was a dumb mistake. So we're going to correct that. I jumped the carrier into the system now. We're actually in the system next to the next jump over from the one with the 10 million to scan, because this system, we discovered a planet that had 7 species of biologicals on it. So we're going to do those 2 things in that video and then make the next jump and see what we get. The point of the last video, and I think continuation with this video, is that Colonia is much less populated, has a much higher density of stars, and therefore is a much better and easier place from which to go get first footfalls and first discoveries, and therefore be able to make a lot more money in a shorter amount of time. So, can't believe I forgot to equip the ship with this. Well, I can believe it. I guess it's not that hard to believe, but I should have known better, because I had plenty of empty slots. I just didn't equip what we needed in here. So let's see, where is it? The surface scanner, there it is. The probe launcher. We've got the pre-engineered. We've got 3 of those. Very nice. It is only a size 1, so I could actually just replace one of these things, but you know why? I've got plenty of room here. I wonder, do we have? We probably put like a size 4 shield generator instead of a 3. But either way, we've got plenty of slots, so we're not even using this ship. The other option, and maybe I'll just do this because I've already demonstrated, you don't need a long jump range. The reason I brought this ship to begin with was because it had a under 50 light year jump range, and I wanted to show that even with a short jump range like that, it is still very easy and very possible to get first footfalls and whatnot. But why don't we just get back in our actual exploration ship, which is the Mandalay. This Cobra I just kind of threw together for the last video. So let's go ahead. And when I get back to Colonia, I'll fully reconfigure the Cobra as well to be a outfitted as a exploration ship. But right now it's just sort of hodgepodge together. Now the question is, which one of these was the real exploration version? So this one has 9149, and this one was what? Oh, that is 9149, and it's the LR, and the regular Mandalay was 94, so it's actually even longer range. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, interesting. I'll have to configure the other one, I think, to get a little longer jump range like this one has as well. But we'll do that in a different video. I know everyone always asks for links to the ships. I will go ahead and either put a comment or put a link in the description to the Mandalay that I'm currently in. because people always want to know. Oh, and I need to re-enable universal cartographics on the carrier. So one thing I like to do is to pause the services, excuse me, the services on the carrier, which I'm not actively using. So the carriers have been sitting in Colonia for like 2 months now, 3 months, 2 to 3 months, somewhere like that. Obviously, you might as well use the stations in Colonia for selling cartographic data. There's no point in using the less rate that you get, the worse rate you get on the carrier. So that was suspended. If the carrier starts leaving populated areas, I'm going to re-enable that so that it can be utilized again. The Vista Genomics always gives a good return, so I always leave that running on the carrier. Let me just double check real quick what this has. So we've got our laser. I talked about that in the part 1, why I put a laser on exploration ships. Okay, and this is what I was talking about, heat sinks. So we have 2. This is interesting though. Neither one of these is engineered. So I have 2 regular heat sinks, which I thought I was doing for weight savings, but neither one of them was engineered. So that's crazy. I have a frame wake scanner, which I technically don't need for exploration. That's only needed for scanning the engineering materials. So even though it doesn't weigh a whole lot, it really doesn't need to be on the ship. So I'm going to store it on the carrier. I should get these 2 engineered when I get back to Colonia, which I will do after I'm done with this video, probably. And then the shield booster is a D-rated booster with lightweight, I think, probably. Or no, resistance. Okay, but it's only 1 ton, so I might as well have a booster like that. Okay, so this is the major weight savings. Is we have a slight 1 size smaller power plant, 1 size smaller thrusters, 1 size smaller power distributor, and they're all D-rated, which makes them even lighter. And then the proper size sensors, I don't think you can undersize those, but also D-rated and with lightweight on them. And then the optionals, got a large fuel scoop, which is very handy. I've got the frame shift booster, shield gen size 4, and it's D-rated, so it's the lightest. It's only 1.8 tons. I've got a anti-corrosion cargo rack. I put the anti-corrosion in just so I never have to swap it out, even if this ship is back home in the bubble, and I'm using it to pick up some Thargoid bits. Like, that's already in there. I don't have to remember to put it in because it's already in. And it's the same weight for the regular cargo rack or the anti-corrosion, so I might as well use that. I've got the D-sized or D-rate? D-type repair limpet, so it's only 2 tons. Lightweight engineered to level 5 collector limpet. And because it greatly reduces the weight, I could actually get away with using a B rate instead of a D rated, because the B rated gives you the longest range, even longer than A rated ones. Size 2 out of field maintenance, a detailed surface scanner pre-engineered, and the advanced docking computer. So this is essentially the ship that I flew to Colonia in my live stream that took a little over 3 hours. And it still has the advanced docking computer on it, which is nice. So, now, again, I have a practice of, even though I have limpet controllers, I don't bring limpets with me because I want that maximum jump range. But I can always synthesize limpets. And you still need a cargo rack to have limpets at all. So even though the cargo rack is going to be empty, you still need a cargo rack with you. And I never bring vehicles because the only time that a vehicle is handy, in my opinion, is when getting engineering materials from crystal shards, when getting raw materials, essentially. Because the fastest method to get those, as I showed in a video a while ago, is to actually do a hybrid method, which involves using your ship to blow off the crystals and then using the vehicle, the buggy, to drive around and just pick them up. It takes the least amount of time to collect 100 units that way. So it's the fastest method. All right, enough talking. Let's get to flying. Let's find out what kind of biologicals are here, and then let's fly back to the previous route spot, which hopefully I can remember. You know what? Maybe we'll do that first, just so I don't forget, because the carrier's here. So let's fly back to the previous jump location, which had like 10 million worth of scan things to pick up. And I don't think we're going to need to fly very far. Because again, we're using a ship with only a 49 light year jump range. Yeah, this feels a little roomier, huh? A little more place to stretch your legs in this ship. Still, I really do like the Cobra 5. They did a great job with it. Still looks like a Cobra, feels like a Cobra, but is big enough to be more useful than a Cobra.
Ready to engage.
Okay, now I have to remember which planets it was, and luckily I have my AD exploration buddy. Let me switch over so you guys can see that. That is in the bottom left corner there, and that is showing me the current list of planets. And what I see from that is A5, A3, and BC1. Let's go to A5 first. And in fact, let's look at them here so you can see. So A5, A3. Go to A3 first. It's that one, and BC1. And that would be this one. No, this one, BC1. All right. Go here first. And we've scanned the system, obviously. This was showing 0 planets when I first got here on the last video. And we did the scan, the FSS, and now we need to actually fly and do a probe scan using the planetary scanner, or probe launcher as I refer to it. Okay, coming a little too hot. Using the gravity well to slow it down. Come on, slow us down. I've been on basically stop. The throttle's all the way on stop here, so I'm just spinning around waiting for it to slow down. The ship to slow down. And that's probably close enough. Alright, now we should be able to surface scan this thing. So it requires 6 probes, so I should be able to do it with probably 3. So do that, and do this.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Cool. That's the beauty of using the pre-engineered ones, is you need so many fewer probes, which, yeah, the bonus is not big. It doesn't really matter, frankly, but the time spent scanning is half as long. I mean, well, maybe not half, but it's certainly shorter. So you do, if you scan a lot of planets, you save some time using the pre-engineered scanner. So it's well worth getting that, and it just requires you to bring the engineering materials and then actually buy it from a broker. Okay, next one was 5, I believe. So 3, 5, and then BC1. put it back on normal view here. And these are all planets, so I could technically put it on Super Cruise Assist, but all that's going to do is get me to slow down enough and then start circling the planet, and that's actually a little too close. So, okay, I'm going to end up doing the same thing I did in the last one, which is coming in a little too fast and then just circling it until, with 0 throttle until the ship slows down enough. So, anyway, with the Super Cruise Assist, the cruise control, as I referred to it, you don't ever jump out when you get to a planet. You just keep circling it. So it's not as useful as it is for going into stations or carriers, where it'll actually go ahead and take care of jumping you out. Okay, let's scan this puppy. What is it telling us? 6, same thing. So let's do that again here. Something like that. If it tells you 1 or 2, it'll just take 1. If it tells you 3 or 4, it'll usually take 2. And if it tells you 5 or 6, it'll usually take just 3. Just like this time around. I may have even been able to do this with 2, frankly. I'll have to try that next time. All right, so that one's done. And now we just have one more to do here, and then we'll get back and we'll take a look and see what kind of biologicals exist. EC1, how far away are you? Not too bad, I guess. Could have gotten a little closer. All right. Okay. So, same thing here. Oh shit, I was gonna do 2. Oh. Got it. Yeah, 2 would have been. Okay, so got all 3 of the valuable planets here scanned. Be right around 10 million-ish. Right around there. Now we just jump back to the carrier. And incidentally, what we're going to do after getting the biologicals on the next planet is actually find the next planet. But we had a long route that we used to get out to where we're first, not even just first footfall, but first to scan. But now that we're here, you don't have to jump very far. In fact, you're better off just coming to the very closest planets to the planet that you're currently at, where you have the first to scan, because odds are most of those, if not all of those, are also going to be first footfall. So like once you find an area where you got a first footfall, or you got a even better first to scan, then don't leave there. Don't jump another 80 light years further away, because now you might have kind of gone through that little patch and back to some place where somebody else has been, check out all the other planets that are the closest to that planet and see if you can get first footfall on all of those as well. So first, let's get back to the one that we scanned.
Frameshift drive charging.
Possible occurrence of valuable species Frutaxophlamasis predicted on rocky body 5b.
Yeah, they're all on the same planet.
Of valuable species Osseous discus predicted on rocky body 5b.
So let's go to 5b.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
My xenobiologist here is from Scotland, so got a little bit of an accent. All right, and then five B. Now, the one thing, since we know it's got 7 different species in it, we also know it will not have stratum tectonicus. Stratum tectonicus, I believe, mostly is on planets that have either 1 or 2, rarely on planets that have 3, and never on planets that have more than 3. Now, I'm going off memory here, so I could be slightly wrong on that, but if memory serves me right, that's what I remember. Okay, so let's scan this planet. And so this is just 2, so I should be able to do it with just 1 hit. Small planet.
Surface scanned.
Yep,
By 50%.
there we go. So we have
Surface scan
Aleota,
complete.
Bacterium, Cactoida, cactus, Concha, the curly thing, Fungoida, Assaeus tubus. All right, so there's life basically everywhere here. Let's see which one is the most valuable of those. Let me take a look here. It's probably going to be it's the Osseous discus, or you got the Concha aurelius. So let's go check out the Osseous first. I like to do things on the sunny side, so let's try and land somewhere sunny. And remember, the dark patches have nothing to do with density, unlike a lot of YouTube videos tell you. All it means is there's different terrain there. There's no indicator of percentage of quality by color. It's either it's possible that it's here or it's impossible. Anything that's not blue, it is impossible for that plant to grow there. If it's blue of any shade, it is possible. And then the darker regions, and you'll see this when the blue disappears and we fly closer, you'll see that the regions that look like dark blue just have a different terrain on them. So it's just a difference in what it looks like. Now, different terrain is not a bad thing either, because generally when there's a difference in terrain, that means other species will also grow there. And this planet has 7 different species on it. So if we can scan this species, the osseous, then move on to Conca would be the next one value-wise that would be worth moving on to. So if we can find this one, it should be worth 64 million. All right, do you see the difference in terrain? This was the dark patch in the blue, is this whole area that's like got more crevices in it. And this is the sandy area, and that was light blue. So we'll start here because it's easier to find things in the flat area. And then we already are finding some stuff for sure. What is this stuff? And also remember, you don't have to get out of the ship to scan things. You could just scan them right here by highlighting them. Come on. What did it say it was? It's Tubus rosaria. Okay. That's the Tubus. Alright. So those are for sure here. And lots of them. And the Tubus is what is that worth? I don't think it's worth much. Yeah, it's worth 13 million. I mean, it's not nothing. And then what are these little guys here? We might as well scan these. So these are... These are Cactoidea. All right. And the Cactoidea is worth 12 million. All right. And then look at that. Third species right here. Touching the ground, sorry. Come on. And then this species is the Aeolia, is that what it said? Eliota. And that's worth 16.5 million. So, I mean, we're here for another reason, but honestly, like, none of these are worth skipping. We might as well get them out of the way. So let me drop the landing gear and the land. Now, unfortunately, we can't scan all 3 of them, as you all know. Oops. We'll have to start with 1 and then... Come on, land. Start with 1, fly around a little bit, collect all of it, and then come down here. Did it land? No. Unsuitable terrain. Dude, I was... That's interesting. Landed over unsuitable terrain. Wow. Okay. Huh. Well, let's disembark. I think I'm wearing the proper suit here. Remember, hit 3 times if you have the default pattern, or a keybind rather. First footfall, yep, knew that. Let's start with this guy. Because I have to walk the least to get him. Cactoida preparatus. Okay. You know what I forgot to run here? I'm going to click on and load. Is ED Copilot, so that we can hear the variety of announcements about getting data. Okay, so got the little Cactoida, the cactus scanned. Get the next spot. of those guys.
Leaving 300-meter clonal colony.
Okay.
Range of cactoid apparatus.
300 meters.
Scan
It's not bad.
count is 1.
Is that them? I don't even know if that's them. I think it is. Can land or not? I may end up turning off auto land because I know sometimes it just takes forever. Especially on a flatter plant like this, might be faster just to land manually, but we'll see. All right. Embark. Oh, that's not them. Okay. So there isn't any of them. Nope, those are all purple. Okay. So see them over there. I gotta pay attention to what what they actually look like here. Yeah, I think this is them. Little cactus guys. Yeah, there we go. All right, ship land. Yeah, that's definitely them. Yeah, scan 2. And one more. We'll check one of these off. This might be them.
Leaving 300-meter clonal colony. Range of cactoid apparatus.
Oh yeah, while I'm here,
Scan count is 2.
we just flew over some bacteria. Might as well scan that. Ah, see, this is where I don't like having the auto lander thingy because it keeps wanting to take over. Okay, here's the Cactoidia. The final one will scan. Ship auto lands. Got it. Okay. Anything else in range here that we can... Guess we could do the tuber thing. Is that the closest one? And this guy. Tubus Rosarium. I don't think it's actually faster to fly. Maybe it is, but I always just got in the habit of jumping instead of just walking. So that last one was just over 12 million. Yeah, where do we have to fly for this guy?
Leaving 800-meter.
There we go. 800 meters. Wow.
To this Rose area. Scan count
Okay,
is 1.
land. But really, none of these are super exotic and therefore super expensive. They're all fair. They're definitely things I would not bother collecting if it wasn't first footfall. But given that it's first footfall, and even the worst bacteria is going to be about 9 million, you know, this planet is easily going to be several hundred million from one planet's worth of scans. Are we out?
Leaving 800-meter Colonia colony.
Yeah.
Engine to this Rose area. Scan count is 2.
I always like to do a right click ping to make sure I'm not accidentally going to scan something that I thought was what I was looking for, and it turns out it's not, which is usually I'll know the difference, but sometimes I get distracted. It doesn't hurt to always just scan. Okay, so we got 2 down. So one was 13 million, one was 12.5 million. So we were now 25 million up. And we have 5 to go. Let's see. Is anything else close? How about these little things right here? Or are these the cacti? That's the cacti. We already had those. Oh, these grass things we don't have. So let's scan those. If you're curious how I'm getting out of the ship quickly, I just hit the 3 key and then spacebar twice really quick. Just like I hit the 3 key 3 times to bring this up right away. Oh, these look like kind of pumpkin colored flowers, I guess. Aliota laminiae. All right, let's go find another one. How far do we have to fly?
Leaving 150-meter clonal colony.
Okay, so that's not very far that we need to worry about going.
Count is 1.
Nope, that's not them. That's not them. Oh, those look like them. Yeah. This one doesn't have a flower growing out of it yet. All right, got it. One more. And it's a very short distance, so these may be far enough away right here.
Leaving 150 meter
Yeah.
Clonal Colony, range of Loadout Alumni, scan count is 2.
And the last one. Okay. So we still haven't gotten the main thing that we landed in this area for, which is the discus. I'll say it's discus. You have to look for that. We got these things. We got these things. We got these things. We could get bacteria, I guess, while we're down here. And again, normally I would never get bacteria, but even bacteria is worth like 9 million when it's first footfall. So I certainly wouldn't land on the planet just for the bacteria. But since we're right next to it anyway, and it's not going to take long to get 3 of these. Two more. Far enough away? No. Okay.
Leaving 500 meter Clonal
There's
Colony, range of Bacterium alcyonum, scan count is 1.
Come in. Scanning. There we go. Okay. One more. And I think we're flying, yeah, we're definitely flying back towards that ridge kind of area.
Leaving
Oh,
500 meters
we'll check that out
Colony,
too,
range
if
of
there's
Bacterium alcyonum,
a
scan
change
count is 2.
in the landscape features quite often leads to additional species of plants being visible. But yeah, we got all these scanned. We're looking for that. There's the bacteria right there. All right. 4 down. 3 left to do. This planet. So we got all four of them in a fairly small area here. Let's see if this change in terrain lets us do another species. Rock. These are the same ones we already scanned, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. Nothing pops up. Rocks? Rocks. Okay. Oh, these aren't rocks. These are... Wait, landing. Trying to scan here. The auto lander keeps wanting me to land. Ah, how high do I have to be up for you to not want to land? Is this okay? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to disable it. Go into ship. Go into which one is it? Auto land is off. Okay, now I can hover. Where are those things? They're there. Because you have to hover while you're scanning it. All right, and that is a Conca Aurealis. Okay, still not the thing we're coming and landing for, but hey, let's start getting this guy. There we go. And then all I do is just sort of slam the ground, which should tilt the wings, and then let me actually come on. There we go. All right, so Conca Aurealis, this one is 38.5 million, so almost 39 million. Obviously worth the scan. Like a walnut thing. Some kind of nut. I don't know how people don't think this game looks that nice. I think it looks great. And actually, while I'm talking about looking nice, one thing everybody needs to check. Game has low graphics setting by default. So make sure you go into here. Make sure the resolution is the highest resolution of your monitor. For sure. If you need to play around with the frame rates and stuff, do that. And then make sure that in quality, that you put the texture quality on high. Shadows don't matter as much. I like to turn off the bloom and the blur, but some people do like to see the bloom now. It's when there's a kind of a light fringe around everything when you're in sunlight. And if you've got the GPU power for it, you can actually super sample, so you could put this up higher, which will then render the game at a higher resolution and shrink it down to show you which actually gives you the highest quality. Using upscaling that's built in here is very crappy. You're going to get mediocre results. Only use it if you absolutely have to for your frame rates. Otherwise, just don't upscale the game. And then environmental quality is ultra, particle flux ultra. All those things go into making the game look as nice as it can. All right, we got to find 2 more of these nuts. And it looks like they like to be in crevasses. So we're just going to fly around crevasses until we get far enough out that we can scan them. Is this far enough out?
Leaving 1
It is.
150
All right.
meter colonial
Can we
colony,
land here is the
range of
question.
Concho
Probably
Aureolus.
not.
Scan count as one.
Can we land right next to it? And then jump down or anything? Can we land like right here?
Entering colonial colony, range of Concho Aureolus. Leaving 150 meter colonial colony, range of Concho Aureolus. Scan count is 1.
I mean, this kind of... Yeah, there we go. There's a spot right there. Somewhere. Right there. Right. Now I'm going to have to change my wing angle, I think, to land here. Nope. Come on. Give me a landing spot. There was a blue here. Somewhere. Up. Okay, this terrain may be an argument that some people would make for having a vehicle. Because then you could just park somewhere where the landing is a lot easier. Alright, land. Issue is I have to turn the ship around. Land here. Oh, well there's a flat-ish spot right here. I just land right here. How is this not flat? This looks totally flat. That looks flat to me. Okay. Alright. Fine. We'll land all the way out here and then walk over there. Fly or whatever. There. Let's land them. There. If all else fails, just ram your ship against the ground and it'll figure out how to land. Yeah, so a little bit more. Oh, there's some over here. So I don't even have to go as far as I thought I did. Good. Oh, look at this little baby one. Little tiny little nut. Okay. 2, 3. Okay, and as soon as we get out of the zone.
150 meter colonial colony, range of Concho Aureolus. Scan count is 2.
There we go. There's a spot. There's not quite a spot. Almost. Come on. There. All right. So we just have the Fangueda and the Osius left to do. And we may, again, need a change of terrain to find an area that has either one of those. Like that little mountainous area may be the way to go. Yeah, I think that's the only mountain I see is right there. Alright, let's do that. We'll fly over to there. If we don't find anything, we'll just pop back up above the atmosphere again. And then look for another green patch and then come down there. Yeah, this is all stuff we have. This is future editing Atlas Rand, and well, I never did find them. I spent another 45 minutes looking for that stupid plant and never did find them. In retrospect, I should have just left the planet and looked for the next one that has bioscience. So, lesson learned there. If it's taking too long, you're better off just leaving, jumping to another system, and scanning for planets that have bioscience. So with that, we'll catch you on the next episode of Colonia, where hopefully I'm not repeating something for 45 minutes and making no headway. We'll catch you on the next one.